Clay is an amazing young man who brought a smile to everyone's face. The coaching staff got to know Clay well as we would spend some time in the coach's office on game days hanging out with Coach Oxley's son, Nash. He loved the color blue and the game of basketball. Thank you to all of the fans for wearing blue tonight in support of Clay. The Lady Leopards wants to thank the Chapman family. Justin and Sydney and Coleman know that we are one heart, one Lovejoy, and we're all here to give them support. We now ask everyone to rise and join us in a 22-second moment of silence to remember Clay Chapman as number 22 represents Clay's basketball jersey. Please keep Clay and his family in your prayers. And now let's give him a big round of applause up here. And make sure he can hear you guys. And now, ladies and gentlemen, it is now time to honor America with our national anthem. And tonight, performing our national anthem is 11th grader Audrey Hightower.
Stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight, o'er the ramparts we watched, were so gallantly streaming, and the rockets rent the air, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
Ladies and gentlemen, Audrey Hightower.
All right. We're going to get into introductions now. Introducing the Lady Bulldogs first.
And now, ladies and gentlemen, introducing the starting lineup first with visiting McKinney North Lady Bulldogs. At guard, senior number 0, Chelsea Luton. At guard, sophomore number 5, Yernaya Evans. At guard, junior number 13, Amaria Field.
so we are live from Lovejoy High School we are about to get started here with the varsity game between the Lady Leopards and the Lady Bulldogs. I have Katie Dolberry with me tonight, the junior,
Yes.
number 30 for the varsity team and 13 for JV. Katie, thank you for coming on.
All right. Starting with Grace Bennett with the ball.
Something to keep in mind for tonight, we will not have the clock actively running on the broadcast, so we'll just be telling that throughout the game. So we will have the score live and also the hashtag that we have on the scoreboard for the memory of Clay throughout the entire game, so that'll be great to recognize as both teams coming out early. So Katie, what's one of the biggest things in a night with as much emotion as it is tonight, and also just trying to just get some initial shots at senior night, a heavy loaded senior roster for the varsity girls? What are the biggest things you think of that or your coach tells you to get your head right?
For JV today, our coach just told us sport didn't matter at the end. It was all just play for Clay, and that's all that really mattered. That's the hashtag we came up for the game. Just the fact that it was bigger than basketball today, and his sister ended up having a great game, having a double-double for 22, which was his number. She hit 4 threes. She did great. But for varsity-wise, we were lucky enough to clinch playoffs last week, but just playing every game like it's our last, because we do have such a heavy senior roster. You never know, like, which game, how far we're going to go in playoffs. Like, most of these girls aren't going to play competitively in college. Could be their last game any day now.
So for a team as heavy loaded with the senior roster as this varsity team is, what is that mentality? Like, how exciting is it to play with a team with that much experience and kind of learn that from the JV level, getting ready to play varsity more next year?
It's been great to learn from them. They're all very good teachers, super willing to just stop whatever they're doing. They know that they're passing on a great legacy. They're willing to do whatever they can to help us coming up, as we'll only have 2 returners for varsity, and so all the seniors are ready to leave their legacy.
Yeah, not very many left to hold the fort here, so you'll have a lot to prepare for. So tell me about the game so far. What are you seeing from both squads, especially McKinney starting out a little early with 2 early points made? What do you feel like the biggest thing is for the Lady Leopards to do in order to keep up in this game and stay ahead?
So our key to victory tonight is going to be having to maintain 0 and 13. If they get hot shooting, it's going to be hard for us to keep up. We're going to have to keep them on the down low and hopefully just kind of play solid defense. I'm not as worried about our offense. I feel like it'll get going. We generally have a slower start, but we have to contain those 2.
Awesome, and thank you again for coming on tonight. So, as Katie mentioned, this team is heavy loaded. McKinney North as well, starter-wise, pretty well across the board. 2 seniors, a sophomore, and 1 junior. As going to the line right now is number 41 for the Lady Bulldogs, tying the game up now at 5. And she will knock down both early free throws. So 6-5, we got 5:24 remaining here in quarter number 1. And as I mentioned, we'll be covering the boys varsity game as well following this broadcast as well. So stay tuned for both games. I want to thank you for coming out and supporting.
The boys varsity game should be pretty good. They went into overtime last time they played each other. Lovejoy was leading all of regulation time, and McKinney North hit a last-second 3 to tie the game up, and Lovejoy ended up losing in overtime, so it should be a close game for the boys.
I did not know that. But we got a treat coming up in the second half. We got a really good game right now as Lovejoy gets the ball back here trying to take another lead. What's been a back-and-forth game so far. But as you mentioned, Katie, this is something where the offense kind of gets a little sluggish here to begin for the Lady Leopards. What's the biggest thing? When does it really start to turn on?
Generally, I would say the third quarter is our big time when we're able to, that really determines our game. If we don't play our game during the third quarter, it's going to be an issue in the future. But if we can keep playing third quarter, but towards the end of the first half, towards the end of the first quarter, hopefully we'll see the offense start to heat up a little bit.
Are those halftime speeches that powerful?
Oh, I don't know. He ranges very much so in his halftime speeches. Sometimes, depending on how he is, first 2 minutes of halftime, it's dead silent. Sometimes he is. The other day, our halftime speech was, "You're gonna get the opportunity. Just hold it out. Don't shoot until you're ready. Your time will come." Tries to get a little inspiration in there every now and then.
So how is it playing for Coach Boxell?
He's a great coach. We like to give him a hard time because isn't necessarily the most touchy-feely person, and he's very straightforward. Tells you how it is, but he'll tell you what you need to he'll tell you what you need to get done, and I mean, for me that works great.
Yeah. We just saw 3 get knocked down, so now it's a 10-6 game. We've had now a 6-point run for the Lady Leopards as they get the ball back here off a missed shot. And now an opportunity to extend this lead. The shot will not fall, but the offensive rebound in hand. Shot up again by number 11. And we're going to get a timeout.
As you mentioned, Julia Bush-Hughes had the 3. If she can start hitting her threes, she's a big key to it. If she's hitting her threes, that's a big help to the Lovejoy scoreboard. She's their go-to three-point shooter for sure.
Well, we are now on a 8-0 run as the Lady Bulldogs are trying to find a way to respond to this offensive burst here with now 3 minutes and 34 seconds remaining. So walk me through a timeout here going into these different moments. How does Coach Boxell handle these timeouts?
So generally, if he calls the timeout, depending on what he's seeing on the court, he is very likely to take the timeout and single out one person, tell them what they need to do. But he's very blunt. He won't waste time in his timeouts. He's not going to put fluff around it. Tells you what needs to get done and tells you to go make it happen.
Well, that's great to hear. And coaching high school athletes. As we're now back on the court now with 3:24 remaining. Open shot drilled, ending the run for the Lady Leopards. As we now got a 13-8 game. Grace looking for a shot there, and a travel call. Will now give the Lady Bulldogs a chance here to put some more points on the board. So walk me through a little bit tonight. You see, everyone knows the primary color is not blue, so walk me through a little bit briefly here for those on the broadcast that were late to the show.
Right.
Walk me through the colors and the mentioning of clay.
So Friday night, varsity was able to clinch playoffs, and so we had fully expected, oh yes, let's celebrate on the bus, like this is gonna be great. But our coach told us we had to put our phones down, and he had to end up breaking the news that our JV Black teammate had lost her brother Friday afternoon due to complications with a seizure, and his name is Clay Chapman. His 10th birthday was on Monday, so his favorite color was blue and his basketball number was 22, so we decided to do a blue out for him and put 22s everywhere and come up with our saying for Play for Clay for the game and just kind of dedicate our last game to him. That's where you see all the blue. We've never had this many fans before, ever, and they invited almost all of Sloan Creek, all of the Sloan Creek teachers where his intermediate school is, all of them came to support, and so everyone just really wanted to show out to support the Chapman family. They have all 3 of their kids in the basketball program, so you'll see the boys supporting him with their blue socks with 22s on them as well.
It is bigger than basketball for sure, everyone. So it's great to have that much of a community support.
Yeah.
It's now another defensive rebound rather. With now 15-10 with 1:40 remaining. The Lady Leopards comfortable with just holding the ball out here near center court, as there is no shot clock in high school basketball, so that is a common strategy rounding out a quarter.
You will see Coach Boxell call this a lot. He often wants to have that last shot, or even just to run the clock down a little bit. He is a fan of 4-up, which is the play that they call it. But our main point guard before 3 games ago, Mallory Adamson, was notorious for sitting out there and chewing her fingernails during 4-up. Unluckily, she tore her ACL in the home game versus Wiley East a couple games ago. But we are notorious for our 4-up. We will hold it for 2-3 minutes.
Well, how does that play into rhythm? You know, you hear that from a lot of coaches. I mean, obviously people complain about it sometimes just because of the entertainment value.
Yeah.
How does that play into a player's mindset? Because you watch NBA all the time. I'm sure you watch college. You watch the lady games all the time and men. How does that kind of alter with your play style? Does that affect you at all in terms of like a rhythm?
It definitely slows down the play, but I feel for our team, we often have the issue of speeding it up too much and not. We need to learn to slow down. We need to take the shots that are going to be most meaningful. And so I feel like when we go into 4-up, it's actually beneficial for our team because it makes us slow down a little bit, kind of regain ourselves, because we tend to speed up a little too much. But I mean, you see other coaches complaining about it all the time. But I mean, if they don't like it so much, then send their girl out to go play defense, I guess.
Absolutely. Well, it's always interesting because you hear so many different opinions on the strategy. You know, sometimes you see teams hold it for an entire half, just unwilling to get out of their zone defense. So I'm always interested to hear the takes on that. And we're going to see a foul going into the inside there.
Yes.
And that will be number 4, Samantha. Say the last name for me. I hate butchering last names. Samantha Basson.
Sammy Basson.
Sammy Basson. Oh, see, they didn't give me that. They say Samantha. As she will knock down the first. 24 seconds remaining.
Yes, Sammy is the lone freshman on the team. She will be here for the next 4 years, so we are definitely looking for her to be a leader on the team next year, along with Julie Rochu, our only 2 returners. We'll be looking for them next year.
We got 24 seconds remaining here in quarter number 1. As she does go 2 for 2 at the line. Free throws have been solid thus far. But as you said, McKinney can get hot real quick.
Oh yeah, they have to control number 0 and number 13.
Number 13 will knock it down. 3 seconds remaining, a heave here. And they're gonna call the foul.
With 0.7 seconds left.
So now 2 shots will be at the line for Chelsea Wood, the senior point guard. So now an opportunity to close in on this lead.
Chelsea hits her free throw.
And she will knock down both. All right, so that's how we're going to end quarter number 1. A back and forth flurry. A good solid 8-0 run to give Lovejoy their 19-16 lead that we have right now. So thank you everyone for watching the Mascot Media Game of the Week. We're going to take a slight timeout. When we come back, we'll get ready for quarter number 2 action. All right, we're back. And the Lady Bulldogs will get first dibs here, going in. And they will strike early, so now a 1-point ball game. With just under 7:30 to go here. We're going to have appears to be, I don't know if that was a foul call. Yeah, they're going to call the foul.
Number 21. Kylie Lewis.
Her first. Both teams still well away from the bonus. We're going to get the and one.
For Addison Hand, number 32. I think these seniors are really looking to just go hard tonight. They're taking advantage of the big crowd that we had left over from the JV Black game for Play for Clay.
Absolutely.
This could be the last home game, so they're looking to play as hard as they can.
Again, got Katie Goldberry on tonight, the junior for the Lady Leopards. Glad to have her on with her insight, because I definitely do not have any to offer. So walk me through free throws. What is that a major part of your team? I mean, you see so many schools lacking in that free throw department. How much of an impact or how much of a coaching point is that for your team?
Free throws are a big emphasis on our team. We almost every other drill, after we run a drill, we will practice free throws just so we can get in that mentality of shooting them even when we're tired. Free throws are also, we do a fundraiser every year called the Shoot-a-thon, where we shoot 100 free throws and we get pledged for however many free throws. So free throws are very highly emphasized on our team.
Well, that is something that I've seen a lot of games come down to, so it's always great to see.
Yes.
As now the points when we knock down another, now we're back to a 2-point game as the Leopards missed the shot there. And now a chance to tie or take the lead. And they will tie. The Lady Bulldogs making a little bit of a run here early on in quarter number 2 with just under 6:20 remaining. Lovejoy slightly in a little offensive slump.
That's another thing. If Carson McFadden's shots start falling, McKinney North could be in some trouble. But as of right now, she hasn't had a crazy amount of points go up. I mean, she's at 6, but she's capable of much more. So if her shots start falling, that's someone to look out for.
Well, you mentioned that quarter number 3 spurt, so there's still plenty of time as we are at 22 tied up, and now a chance. Number 41, Monica Horn, I believe is how you say it. Yeah, I hate butchering last names, but, you know, it happens. And she will knock down the first. Now 3 points on the evening thus far. And now exiting, or coming in, will be number 13 for the Lady Leopards with just under 6 minutes remaining. Lovejoy is content with just racing this ball up the court here. Open 3 on the way and in.
Like I said, Julia Rochu is their go-to girl for a quick 3. She practices every day after practice. She gets the gun out, our shooting machine. She spends 30 minutes every day on her 3s alone after practice on her own time.
Well, the practice is paying off as senior night. She brings them back in the lead. And now an offensive rebound with a large crowd tonight for the Lady Leopards. Another 3 is on the way and in.
For Grace Bennett, number 3.
A quick 6-0 burst off back-to-back 3s.
Yes, varsity saw the 3s rolling for Jimmy Black. They want some of it too.
I'm telling you right now, McKinney North is struggling a little bit as Coach Hamilton is looking on, trying to command her troops, put some solid defense here to hold off this run, but another 3 is on the way, a 9-0 run. With just under 4:40 remaining, McKinney North is trying to put some points together here. A 3 is on the way, and there's the response.
That's exactly what Coach Boxell has emphasized this whole week, is stopping number 13 from shooting her outside shots, because she will shoot them 3 feet off the 3-point line, but she will make them.
Well, that was almost contested right there. She had someone right up on her, so that's impressive. As the ball is, defense was pressing, and now with 4:10 remaining, Lovejoy back in that strategy position there. What was that called? The 4? Oh, now we're going to see a slash.
4 out, 4 up.
4 out. We're going to see a slash to the inside. Points made. Now 33-26. And now points are just being traded back and forth with just under 3:40. In quarter number 2 of our Mascot Media Game of the Week tonight.
That's one of the things that I think this team needs to improve on heading into playoffs, is they had those quick 3 threes in a row, and that did really great, but then now their defense is getting a little bit more lazy, and they allowed McKinney North to get back in the game.
Absolutely. keeping on the pressure is very important as we're going to get a defensive foul on number 5, her first. McKinney North, Yarnia Evans.
I would say Lovejoy's definitely kind of feeding off this crowd right now that we have for our blue out.
Oh, absolutely.
We don't see this many fans for varsity boys, let alone varsity girls. So this is real fun, especially since it's their senior night. Kind of big game all in all for everybody.
Well, walk me through being a Lovejoy Leopard.
So we have a saying called One Heart, One Lovejoy. We have a new superintendent this year, Dr. Michael Goddard. Everybody loves him. He's very hands-on. So our motto for the year is One Heart, One Lovejoy, just that we can really all come together and just stick with each other through everything, which I think is being displayed perfectly tonight.
Oh, absolutely. And that's great to see. As we're now at 3:13 and counting, the Lady Bulldogs continue putting on some little one-on-one type defense as the ball's going to get stripped away. And a quick run down the court brings this back to a 30-33 game, and Coach Boxell is not happy. So now what are these timeouts like? We saw
So Boxell will kind of leave the coaching right now to the varsity assistant, Mike Motsney, and he just wants to go have a word with the ref. He is all in for that. He is not afraid to talk to the ref for sure.
Well, how is that full coaching staff built to accompany players like yourself? Just how is it playing for them, the full staff?
Right, so Coach English coaches the lower level, the JV Red, so we don't see a whole lot of her. She also doesn't have our period, so just my team in particular, we don't see a whole lot of her, but she's always there for us. And then Coach Chastain and Coach Motsney kind of switch off, co-coach JV Black, which I think works really well for us. Motsney is definitely the bad cop, and Chastain is the good cop. And we really appreciate that blend because even when Montz is yelling at us, telling us straight, Chastain is still there to tell us what we are doing right. And I think being such a young team on JV Black, that's really appreciated for us. And Coach Boxell is very hands-on with the JVs as well. So I feel like that's going to make the transition. Right now I'm currently playing home games for JV and away games for varsity. And so just Boxell being very hands-on with the JV has made that transition very smooth for me. He's very good at doing that.
The three will not fall there, and now the offensive rebound. The points continue to fall, but more offensive rebounding. As we got 2:20 and counting. We're going to get a jump ball call, and that's going to go back in the Lady Bulldogs' direction.
Another thing Coach Boxell emphasized for this game is just keeping our cool when we played them at McKinney North. It got very heated very quickly. People were getting very aggressive, a little bit of foul trouble, and just even kind of chirping just throughout the game. And so one thing he's really emphasized is just keeping our cool throughout this game. Just maintaining, knowing that we're here to play basketball. We're not here to interfere with them playing basketball.
Well, how does that play for conference games and I presume some form of a conference rival? As we're now tied up at 33, how do you prepare, or how does your team rather prepare for a game as heated as that, putting that or preventing yourself from marking this game on a calendar, preparing for that second round matchup against a heated conference opponent?
I think we just play it game by game. We're not going to look until the next game until we're done with the first one. But we always have in the back of our mind how they treated us, and especially we had a loss against McKinney North. We were close at halftime, and they kind of took advantage in the second half. We want to flip that. We want to get our revenge on them, and knowing that, but also knowing how did we get beat and being better prepared to face that this time.
Right, and this is already turning out to be a classic as we're tied at 33 here with just under a minute 30. Revenge will be sweet with a record crowd tonight.
For sure. We're looking to get a little bit of momentum carrying into the playoffs. We'll either play the 17th or the 18th. likely against one of the first-go schools. So we're definitely looking to carry some momentum in here. McKinney North is currently first in the district. So if we get a win tonight, if I'm correct, we can bump them down to second place, and we can bump up to third place.
So there is a lot.
There's a lot on the line.
As it will fall. And the crowd erupts as we're going to have an and one opportunity here for the Lady Leopards, grabbing that lead back. Beautiful facility. How does it feel playing in a gym like this, night in and night out, and playing for such a great school district like Lovejoy?
Yeah, we have great student support throughout, especially for varsity boys, of course. But we definitely have 10, 15 students each game for varsity girls coming out to support, which is really great. You see them get the bat heads out, really getting into it, especially in the fourth quarter. We've been involved in a lot of really close games recently, but especially for this, because so much of the community came out to support the Chapman family tonight. And we were just able, like, for JV Black, we were able to feed off of that. We kept giving the ball to Sydney, Clay's older sister, and she was knocking down, I think she hit 4 threes, and the crowd was just going wild, and we just all wanted to play off of that, feed off of that. There was more people on my team than not that hit threes, or multiple threes tonight. So we're definitely feeding off the crowd a little bit. We're enjoying this. Not used to this big of a crowd for sure.
Well, an opportunity was present now with 7 seconds and counting. McKinney North will strike and get it within 1, 2 seconds. 1, shot up. So we're going to go to halftime here, 36-35. The Lady Leopards, underneath a record crowd, will go into the locker room holding on to a 1-point lead. We're going to take a brief timeout as the boys come on to warm up, and we'll be back with a halftime breakdown of the game so far and prepping for the second half of action. Thank you for tuning in to tonight's Mascot Media Game of the Week.
they haven't been able to carry much momentum so far. It's been a very back and forth game so far. Our high scores have been number 13 from McKinney North has had 19 points so far. Lovejoy has not been able to contain her very well, which is definitely one of their key aspects. If they're to win, they're going to have to contain her on the perimeter. For Lovejoy, we have number 11 who has hit 4 threes so far. She's at 12 points. She's their go-to quick three girl. So they've been feeding her pretty well.
So we're going to come back here. Thank you for the recap. We're going to go into quarter number 3 action here. So picking your brain a little bit more, what do you feel like that timeout or that halftime was in the locker room for the senior populated locker room for the Lady Leopards?
Right. I definitely don't think Buxel took it easy on them for it being senior night. He definitely wants them to be more aggressive defending number 13 on the perimeter, as she does have those 19 points, and he has emphasized that all week, as that is one of the key factors. Like, they have to limit her. So he was probably not happy about that, getting on to a couple girls about what we can do better when it comes to her. But other than that, we've limited 0 to 5 points, which I'm sure he's very happy with so far.
Absolutely, as that was one of the main keys to the game. Lots of runs back and forth, lots of lead changes. But it's felt like, as you mentioned, from that first encounter between y'all and the Lady Bulldogs, this is shaping up to be another good clash between two powerhouse programs.
Yes, for sure. The first time we played at McKinney North, it was a very close game at halftime, and then McKinney North was able to pull away as Lovejoy struggled a lot in the third and fourth quarter. And I want to say they won by a low double-digit lead. But as long as Lovejoy is able to hang in there during the third quarter, if they hit that third quarter spurt, it should be a close game from here on out.
Yeah, and as you mentioned, the third quarter is very big for your team. As both free throws get knocked down, those drills paying off so far, as the free throws have kind of kept y'all even more in the lead throughout the night so far.
Yes, free throws are a big thing for Lovejoy, something we work on a lot. Buxel recognizes how big they are in the game. Even Harima for the boys team, we had Joshua Kirkland went 8 for 8 a couple games ago on his free throws, and that is 100% the reason the team won by 3 points, I believe. So free throws are just very, very largely emphasized in Lovejoy for sure.
Well, a 3 will not fall, but a quick offensive rebound and a dart back in will lead the ball back in the hands of the Lady Bulldogs. Now a chance to take a lead here. And they will be rejected, and the ball's going to go right back in the way.
Yes. This kind of just sums up what we've seen throughout the night, just very back and forth, not much consistency so far.
All right, so when is that really, I mean, is it a play being set up? What is it that really gets your rhythm flowing? Is it just an individual player start saying, I'm feeling myself, or what happens?
So the team definitely looks up to Carson McFadden, number 24. She has been on varsity since she was a freshman, is one of the captains. So if she can start getting hot, the team will definitely follow. They definitely look up to her in that sense. So if we can get her going, then I feel like the rest of the team will fall right in behind her.
Well, the Lady Bulldogs are going to snatch the lead back now with even more lead changes. This is now 41-38, and just continuing on is Miss Amaria Fields' campaign of 22 points so far, the junior, making a statement and forcing a timeout of the Lady Leopards. So as we can see, the huddle's a little animated right now.
Right, yes.
What is being said in that huddle?
He is telling them that we need to be better at boxing out, and he will demonstrate it for you, as we just saw him demonstrate it on senior Grace Bennett. But he's very animated. He will tell you how it is. He will demonstrate it for you. He doesn't think that you're going to retain it as well as he wants you to. He's emphasizing, like we've said all night, limiting number 13, as we are not doing that right now, and that is killing us, as she's had over half their points.
Yes, 22-point campaign thus far, literally over 50%. Do those visuals help?
Do what?
Do those visuals help?
Oh yeah, sometimes, because you definitely don't want it to happen again. He will, if he sees something wrong and you're not listening to him, you will be out in a second. And depending on who you are, you might not come back in for the rest of the quarter. And everybody, of course, wants their playing time. So those visuals, they really knock it into your head like this is your last straw. Like, get after it. Let's go.
Well, that is always great to see. As now another opportunity here to close in on that lead. The first chance.
There we see Carson McFadden hitting her floater. So if she can continue making those, the team, I feel, will definitely follow in her lead if she can get going.
Absolutely. Now it's under 5:50 remaining here. And a slash to the basket for Miss Fields.
That's another thing. You saw number 13, Amaria Fields, kind of did a little hand gesture after she made that. That's one of the things that Boxall has said. We know that she is a very proud player, and we obviously don't appreciate that. So that's one of the things he said, is that if you don't like it, then do something about it. Shut her up, make her not be able to say something like that. That was the big emphasis in the locker room after the loss against them last time.
Well, now an opportunity for number 13. They're going to call the 3 free throw attempts here. I thought it was really close, but they're going to give it to her. So now there's a chance to tie this game up as she'll knock down the first.
Carly Ludlow can hit her threes. I believe she went 96 for 100 in our shoot-a-thon. So she is a very good free throw shooter. I would not foul her at the three-point line if I was them.
I mean, I can't even hit 20% of my threes. So, yeah. That's why I'm not playing on the court. And she will go 2 for 3, bringing this down to a 1-point game with just under 5:18 remaining. A little flutter, no good. They're going to give that ball back to the Lady Leopards. So now a chance, with any points, a chance to take a lead here.
Sam Basson has definitely had to step up in this point guard role since Mallory tore her ACL, but she's done a very good job so far. It's just in those last second when we have a few seconds on the clock in the fourth quarter, it's a close game. She's a very good point guard, but she doesn't yet have that experience in those tight games, needing to run one play to get a quick shot off. So we're definitely, in practice, that's been one of our big emphasized things is playing as if there was 3 seconds left on the clock. We have to get something immediately and letting her be point guard through that, because Mallory was our go-to for that.
Well, how does the pressure kind of mount on? Do you see that in the practices with such a senior-led team? When you're the young one of the group, how does that play, or how do you see that play in practice?
For sure. I mean, I think all the seniors have just taken her under their wing. They're all very close. I wouldn't say that they've excluded her in any way of any sorts.
Absolutely.
But they're definitely, they want to leave something to be proud of. They want to be able to come back and see something worth watching next year. They are training Sam to do everything that they would hope that she could. They're very amped on just grinding her into what she can become, as she looks to be one of our big leaders in the coming years, because she's already one of our high point scorers consistently. She's one of our starters, and so to see her grow in the next 3 years is going to be something cool.
Absolutely, as we're going to see number 24 come out for the Lady Leopards. Coach Boxall consoling with her slightly. I'm always interested in hearing from a player about how much their coach really impacts them. When you see all these different, I mean, this is one of my first experiences with seeing him coach live. You see the ferocity with demonstrating the play animation, but then you see him consoling with the player that's frustrated, trying to tell everything's going to be all right. How do all those elements impact a player?
For sure. I would definitely even say his animations are a bit more limited than they usually are, because he knows that it's such an emotional game, not only because it's senior night, because we have play for Clay as well, and that impacted so many people on our team. But just his feistiness carries through for sure. When we see him getting heated with the ref, although he would kill us if we were to talk to the ref, it kind of lights a little spark underneath the girls, like, all right, let's go. Like, a couple games ago, he got so heated with senior Mallory Adamson that he ripped his tie off and threw it, called a timeout specifically to yell at her. And it's just things like that that really like wakes you up, like that gets your head back in the game, really hypes you up, and like, you gotta go. He's not afraid to give it to you straight, for sure.
Well, we're gonna see 3 points being shared between both teams. Now a 4-point lead for the Lady Bulldogs with just under 3:30 remaining. And quarter number 3. Open 3 on the way, knocked down. We're back to a 1-point game on senior night. And the air ball chants come on. And now another opportunity here for the Lady Leopards to pounce here on McKinney North and get this lead back in what's been a
For sure.
heavy loaded lead change type of night.
I think just seeing that air ball from, I believe it was 0 right now is going to kind of hype them up. Like, let's go get this. Like, let's go, as our coach Motts would like to say, let's go stop on their throats. Like, let's go give it to them. So I think seeing that air ball might give them a little bit of momentum.
As the defensive stop there from McKinney North happens, they're going to call a foul down the line there towards the Lovejoy bench. Looks to go on number 4, her second. And now McKinney North inbounding, another chance here to try to extend this lead. A defensive stand needed for Lovejoy. As you can see, the pressure is definitely on Miss Fields. They do not want her to score anymore.
Yes, you will see them even double teaming her at a time. They are okay with certain girls, he is okay with certain girls shooting, and he will, we give him a hard time, he will yell, it's okay, let her shoot. And we kind of give him a hard time for that. But they will do anything they can right now, especially double teaming, to limit Amaria Fields.
Well, with a 24-point campaign so far tonight, cannot blame the staff there as the ball's going to stand in the direction of McKinney North. 51-48 with 2:11 on the clock right now. We're going to have one more quarter following this, another 8 minutes, but right now this game is as exciting as you can imagine. As the 3 is on the way, another air ball. Miss Fields starting to quiet down here as we round out the 3rd period.
I sure hope so. We'll see what the Leopards can do with 2 air balls for her. See how they can take advantage of that.
Yes, plenty of opportunity. Solid defense, though, from the Lady Bulldogs thus far. As the shot is on the way, they're going to give a late call there. And that's going to send number 3 to the line with 2 shots. Foul will go on number 23, her 3rd. So if you're Coach Hamilton, you might start thinking about bringing in, and she is right now, number 14 is coming in. As it's now 51-49 with that free throw being knocked down.
Yes. And number 14, who you mentioned just came in, is one of the players that Boxall's okay with letting shoot. As he rather spend his players on guarding Amaria.
Yeah, I would dare to say that that double team is definitely necessary right now.
Now, that type of shot is what he's not going to be so okay with, because it was a blocked shot. We should have somebody there down on the backside, but if she's shooting outside shots, he's not going to harp on it too much until she starts making them consistently.
Right, now, you got to pick and choose your battles with that. As another 3 is on the way, no good. They're going to push this hard as Miss Fields attacks the basket. Shot's no good. 3 straight misses. If you're Lovejoy, now is the time to definitely put some points on the board here. But the defense is sound for the Lady Bulldogs. This is intense.
These are indeed intense. The Leopards have had quite a few games where it's very back-to-back. We haven't had a whole lot of blowouts one way or another. Sherman is one that comes to mind where we have beaten them pretty badly both times. But the Lady Leopards have had a lot of close games, almost overtime, winning by just a couple points either way.
Well, with just under a minute now inbounding for the Leopards. Now a chance here to try to close this lead. We might see the slow down action here. As
For sure, a little bit of 4-up.
Yeah, McKinney North's defense has definitely started to stiffen. But the points will get knocked down, 53-51. Open look on the way.
Another key to success for the Leopards is going to be getting Addison Hand under the basket, getting her some of those rebounds. She's been pretty quiet rebounding so far tonight, so if she can start getting some of those rebounds, she can outlet it down the court, and that could be a big turnaround for Lovejoy too.
The ball's going to get tipped out there by one of the Lady Leopards. So now another opportunity for McKinney North with now 20 seconds in quarter number 3, a 2-point ball game. And the ball's going to stay in the hands. It looks like they're trying to point in that direction of those 2 stars. 10.1, the defensive stand holds. So 10 seconds, and now an opportunity for the Lady Leopards to strike, and either tie or even take a lead possibly with a 3-point buzzer beater going into the 4th.
They're definitely going to be looking for Julia right here.
And the shot hits the glass, and that's going to be a way to do it. I don't even know how many ties we've had so far, but if this whole game can be like quarter number 4 right here, I'm going to be excited for this ending. So,
For sure.
thank you for tuning in so far. We're going to take a little small timeout as the coaches consult with their teams. So thank you for tuning in to tonight's Mascot Media Game of the Week live from Lovejoy High School. We got Sweet Caroline.
Definitely a crowd favorite. You will see the Lovejoy Jungle, our student section, getting into this one for sure.
Well, they're definitely been in effect all night with a little Sweet Caroline action. That's going to play host to quarter number 4 in what's been an exciting game so far. So walk me through, Katie, what happens in a 4th quarter with this much intensity, this much drama, this much surrounding a senior night type game?
I think you're definitely going to see Lovejoy start to speed up their play a little bit, but Boxall's going to want them to slow down, just kind of keep playing controlled. You might see them run a few more sets that McKinney North maybe hasn't seen. We've been working on some sets in practice for sure that are like very situational, that just so McKinney North hasn't been able to scout them out yet. Definitely could see Boxall pulling some of those out of his sleeve.
We saw a quick dart to the inside. Great Patrick Mahomes' pass. Give Lovejoy the lead and immediately stripped away. Now 56-55. Both teams will not quit, that is for sure.
Gotta say, I'm a little nervous to play Amaria next year. We're gonna have a very young team, and she's gonna be a competitor next year, I'm sure.
Well, judging from both teams here, this is a great opponent to have in conference.
Yes, looking at it, McKinney North only has 3 seniors, so they will definitely be another big competitor next year as they're already first place in district.
And with realignment coming in effect for y'all, some teams, we were talking about it briefly during halftime and in the 3rd quarter. How does that affect a player? I mean, it only happens to you, what, twice overall your playing career, like your high school, I guess, earlier on possibly. How does that kind of affect you as a player? I mean, being from out of state, I see where it's just the same opponents every single year. It's been for centuries now. How does that realignment play into your opponents and how y'all see rivals?
Yeah, so we've definitely seen a lot of the same competitors over and over, even in our fall and summer leagues. We see the same teams for the most part, just kind of over and over. So getting some variety will definitely be a little interesting, but since our district is expanding and only the top 4 teams from each district go to playoffs, we're gonna have to fight a little harder because we were able to kind of float in. We're currently in 4th place, so we have secured our spot. So we're definitely going to have to turn it up a notch next year to see who our new competitors are and how they feed into our game.
Well, Coach Hamilton did not look pleased when she called that timeout. We got a 58 tied up ball game with 6:17 to go. So walk me through here some of the things you think Coach Box was talking about at this moment as a timeout was called by McKinney North.
Looks like he might be like drawing up a play. That's one of the things Boxell is not afraid to do, is create a new play on the spot, and he expects us to go execute it perfectly. That is something he's big on, just kind of keeping everybody on their toes for sure.
Drawing skills.
Yes, yes.
Are they good?
His X's and O's kind of run together sometimes.
Oh, well.
It's definitely, he's passing and his dribbling and his signing for it. Gotta get used to it for sure.
Do you think he passed art class?
You know, I'm not sure. I'm sure his kids help him a lot. He has a 2-year-old and a 8-year-old maybe. I'm sure he's pretty creative with them sometimes.
I'm sure they probably drew up the plays for them coming into the game. So how much play, I'm curious with how much different play action or how much plays are called on an average night for your team, or how much is just Coach Boxell letting y'all play your game, moving up and down the court? Is there kind of a percentage there that he tries to stay around, or how does that on a night-to-night basis?
Yeah, so I would say definitely we generally stick to like our basic motion or our high-low. I'd say every 3 or 4 plays he'll call something up. But I mean, Varsity's playbook is massive. When I was pulled up to play a couple games with them, he said, don't even bother trying to learn the playbook. Like, it is so big. And he calls plays that you've never heard of. But you think you know them all. You don't.
So there is a dictionary or an encyclopedia of plays, for sure. As the defenses have stiffened up for both teams, now just rounding out underneath 5:30. 60-58. A shot on the way from Miss Fields. She has definitely quieted down.
For sure.
Still the leading scorer with a 24-point campaign thus far. But if you're Coach Boxell, you're happy because she's not controlling the game.
Right, yes, for sure. I feel like he's definitely going to look for some more threes from Sammy and Grace and Julia, looking to them to get them a little bit more outside action.
Well, Lovejoy's going to steal that lead back. Another lead change, as it now seems like Coach Hamilton has slowed down the pace, got the players into position, and it looks like trying to get Fields here set up with an open look.
That's interesting. Generally, you see teams doing that when you've just gotten the lead, trying to slow the game down, get one of the later possessions, but she gave up the lead and she did it.
And now another strike to the basket will give Lovejoy a 3-point lead.
Lovejoy is definitely feeding off this crowd right now, and you'll see as the game gets closer, the student section will start to filter down towards the railing where some of them already are. They'll get really into the game for sure, and that's always fun to play with.
Well, this is a great game to get set up for a boys game that we will be streaming as well. Katie's going to stay with me the whole night, so have her insight. As a strike to the basket now closes this back down to a 1-point game. How does the student section, I mean, being an outside person in the crowd, you really don't think about it. You just hear them yelling and screaming and saying things you didn't know what they even mean half the time. How does that play for a player, and how does that set y'all up on a night-to-night basis at home?
Yeah, so I think just for right now, because this is such an emotional game for our seniors especially, just for everybody, and just having that crowd behind you, like, it's all right. Like, if you do something great, they're gonna let you know about it, and they will definitely, they will tell you what you are doing for sure, and they are not afraid to maybe call out the other team a little bit, maybe heckle them every now and then on a free throw, especially as this game gets closer towards the end of the game. So it's always just fun playing for a big crowd.
Yes, as it looks like McKinney North will hold on to the ball here. 3:25 on the clock, the inbound for what looks to be number 0, Miss Wooten. Open look on the inside. McKinney North strikes back now with their lead.
You saw Addie saying my bad. That's definitely something that Boxell will get onto her later for, because she hadn't turned around. She didn't know where the ball was. Happened right next to her. That's definitely a point we're going to want back.
It's always good to see accountability from players as it looks like a strike to the inside. Shot is no good. They're going to throw a Hail Mary typist pass to Miss Fields. Solid defense, though.
And you can hear the crowd there. They're cheering for their freshman. She's not very big, 5 foot something, but she had that big block, and you can hear it.
You heard a slight few boos as well. Miss Fields has definitely cooled down, and a lot to play in from the crowd on the Lovejoy side, and overall solid defense from the Lady Leopards. And another shot doesn't fall, but they're going to give her the free throws here. So now a chance at point 25 and 26. As now the junior will have a chance at 2 free throws. In a 64-63 game with 2:45 remaining. And she will miss the first. And the lead is now 2.
Fancy pass there from Julia Brochu.
And there's the lead back. My, oh my.
Well, I mentioned Julia is definitely one of their go-to three-point shooters, but if they need, she's just their consistency shooter. If they need a big clutch shot, they will definitely look to Sammy. They've done it before against, I believe it was Denison. They got a big last-second win. Sammy hit a buzzer-beater shot to send it into overtime. She's definitely one for the clutch shots.
Well, we were just seeing passes being thrown in, and Lovejoy finally gets that defensive stand here. As now with a minute 40 and counting, the 4 out is in effect.
For sure. Right now, I don't even think it's stalling for time necessarily. We're trying to get a good look that we think we can score off of.
Guaranteed points. And that's what happened.
And there it is. Freshman Samantha Bassan, number 4.
Coach Hamilton calls the timeout as she prepares to try to put a play together with a minute 21 of action.
This has been one of our big focuses in practice over the past couple weeks is with that minute and a half left, is how are we going to be better than the other team? How are we going to control the ball, use the clock to our advantage?
Well, with a minute 21, it's definitely time for both teams to get a few more offensive or defensive stands. We might have our winner come out now, as both teams will be participating in playoff action after this game. How much will your team ride off of this coming into the playoff action with a win high of quality as this?
I think it would be huge to come out with the win because they beat us. We wanted that revenge, and so it'd be really beneficial for the team if we came out with the win. I think we would ride that high right into playoffs, hopefully get a first round win. That'd be really nice, but I feel like if we get that win, it's definitely going to hype up our momentum because they want this win so badly. Not only for this big crowd, but they're playing for Clay, of course. They just want to carry in some momentum into playoffs.
Yes, the play for Clay is in effect as the blue crowd is here. And now we're going to see if this crowd can will the Lady Leopards with some solid defense for a major victory. As Miss Field gets her shot off, and it will land. And a full timeout quickly called there by Coach Hamilton with now a minute 12. That was a really quick shot there. So walk me through what do you think the breakdown was to get that shot off, or was it just by the pure talent of Miss Fields?
I mean, she's been on fire all night. I feel like she found a little opening where our defense was slacking off maybe a little bit. Maybe we only had one person on her instead of our double team that we're supposed to have. She just beat them.
We got the play drawn up here by Coach Boxell. What do you feel like with this much time remaining? as a player, do you feel like he's going to try to go a little bit slower with this? Or do you think he's going to try to just go for a quick strike and then try to hold on to the defense as you have a 1-point lead currently?
I would definitely see Boxall trying to hit it quick and then slowing it down once we get a 1-2 point lead. He's definitely going to want to slow it down a little bit, but he's definitely going to want to go get a quick shot, I feel like.
Well, his players are on the court first. Coach Hamilton trying to rally her troops to get one more defensive stand, try to steal this lead in what has been a constant lead change type of night. They're going to call a timeout. Or no, they're going to get the foul call. Sorry, I didn't even see it. I just assumed. That's going to go on number 14, her first, so no real impact. But we are inching closer and closer to free throws.
It kind of takes away a whole aspect of the game is we call it red, get that foul, try and get the ball back when it's in bonus. So we'll have to see how that plays into the game.
Yes, both teams inching close, both tied up on total team fouls at 6 apiece. So it looks to be a timeout called here. I can't pay attention, but we got 47 seconds remaining. A full timeout.
I have a feeling by the way he was looking at Sam, he's drawing up the same play again and mad at her because she didn't run it right. Something of the sorts, couldn't get past her girl. I feel like we're going to see the play that was intended for that last possession.
If you're McKinney North, what would you think you need to do here in this situation?
I'm sure they've done their scouting. I would definitely be watching out for the either shot from 11 or 4. They have, even number 3 is a big three-point shooter, so they have all 3 of our three-point shooters are in the game, with the exception of Carly Ludlow. Those are the 4 that if they need a 3, they will go to those 4 rather than anybody else on the court. So I definitely would be looking out for the 3 right now if I was McKinney North.
3 or 2 do you feel like is needed here in order to secure this game?
I feel like Boxall's a bit go big or go home. I feel like he's going to go for the 3.
Well, the inbound will be successful. And now with under 40 seconds, we'll see what was drawn up, as it looks like a kick ball. Looks like one number 5. They don't even have her up there on the scoreboard. So we're in bonus time. Trying to see if those free throw drills paid off.
I hope so. This is definitely a big game for Varsity heading into playoffs with such a big crowd. Maybe we can take some of this crowd with us to playoffs if they like what they see. They like the exciting game.
I hope so. This community support's incredible as we play for Clay. But it's also awesome to always see this much support for student athletes. As both free throws are knocked down, we're going to have a 3-point ball game.
Sure. And even they've made it this year where all of the boys and girls district games are together at the same site, and that's different from last year. So I think that even helps. We have, towards the end of the game, we have a lot of the guys' fans coming in, whether that be the parents or, of course, they always bring a bigger student section. So we see a lot of them filing in right now, getting nice and loud for everybody. So they're really hyping up the Leopards right now in the last couple seconds of the 4th quarter.
Well, Coach Hamilton wisely calls a timeout there, as that 3 would have been an air ball of all air balls. So we got 28.7 remaining. So now breaking down the defensive side of it, how does the defensive structure come into this late in the game? Obviously, we know who they're going to try and stop. How do you feel like he structures the defense here?
I still think he's going to go with the double team for number 13, Amaria Fields, but he has drawn up specific defenses for each team. In off-season practice, of course, they run it against us, the JV Black, see how we handle with it. But I'm sure he is drawing up a special defense just for this play.
How competitive are those practices?
There is quite a bit of competition. When we're not shooting our free throws, we'll generally start off with a couple drills, and then after school is when our freshmen come in as they have a different basketball period, and then we start to do a lot of competitive drills, lots of varsity versus JV type stuff. And then, of course, the day before game days, we'll let varsity run all their plays against JV as they're just running back and forth.
Well, with as much talent as it seems like there is here in Lovejoy, I'm sure those practices are always very, very intense. So that's good to see. So we got under 22 on the way to 3. Is good. So they're going to call a timeout.
I think Buck's is a little upset. He wasn't trying to call the timeout. We have a play called nail, and he was doing the hand motion of fist into his palm, and they misinterpreted it for a timeout.
Coach Box was conveying with the rest of that information. They're going to let him just play on. They're going to forgive him for that. The rest says, my bad, my bad.
We call nail. It's one of our very popular plays. I can say that I've never seen anybody mistake that for a timeout. So.
Well, they're going to have free throws. As that's now number 0's. Well, that's her first, so it doesn't really matter. But now we're going to get free throws here. So if there was ever a moment in time to hit your free throws, it is right now.
For sure.
With 11.7 remaining. The front.
And Carson McFadden is just one of those players that's going to thrive off of all of this fan support. Even when this other team is yelling at her, she's the type of player that's going to thrive off of that.
Well, she knocks down the front end of the 1-and-1. Falls just short on the second one.
I'm worried, however, how that's going to affect her because she will get very hard on herself very quickly.
Well, now's a chance for the whole Lovejoy athletics staff, or the whole lady staff here, to console the team and get one more solid defensive stand, because any points gives this game to the McKinney North Lady Bulldogs.
Definitely also a huge win for Lovejoy because as JV Black secured that big win, we had our high score all season with 60 points as the play for Clay obviously mainly affected our team, as it did everybody, but since Sydney is on our team, and we're not necessarily worried about JV Red getting a win. They have gone undefeated in district so far. But if we can get this win and take a sweep for at least the girls, then that would be really special. You can see the Chapman family sitting on the first row. They are definitely a basketball family. They went to the Mavs game last night and took all of Clay's basketball teammates and friends, and they got to hang out with some of the players before the game, so that was really cool for them.
That is neat, as I believe the Mavs are playing the Jazz last night. Is that right? Yeah. That's awesome to see. As now we just need one more defensive stand here. As it's 71-75 seconds for as the points will fall. However, I believe the clock should have stopped with at least 3 seconds there.
Sam was definitely trying to call a timeout down on the baseline. And the ref wouldn't seem to give it to her.
Well, the refs are consoling right now. They're going to give them the timeout. I'm not sure how much time they're going to give. Looks like 1.5 after they correct it, but
hopefully we get a little bit more time on that clock to try and get some sort of crazy miracle playoff.
I don't think we're going to get a minute 50, but yeah, hopefully we get a little bit more time at what's been an 1.5. And what's been an epic night so far. So one last play call drawn up here, probably just an inbound heave. It's time to see if the magic is there. 72-71.
We're going to look for a baseball pass here.
As the pass is just over the head there of the freshman. I believe it was tipped.
I thought it was too, but they put 1.5 back on the clock, so.
No, they're going to keep it in the hands. And McKinney North will squeak by and will hold on to that #1 seed.
It's always a rough loss for senior night.
Absolutely. As the final score here is 72-71. Do not close the app. Do not close the website. We're going to have our team here one more game the boys. And as you mentioned, that's going to be a great game as well.
Should be indeed.
So thank you for tuning in to part 1 of the Mascot Media Game of the Week tonight from the beautiful Lovejoy High School, Leopard Arena. We'll be back.